To do the Ivy League championship between Dartmouth and Princeton. And on Friday afternoon, we had finished every setup for the radio broadcast. And a friend of mine said, "Would you like to play a little golf? It's a beautiful November afternoon." So we went out to the course, and we were walking down the 14th hole. He sees this figure coming up the fairway toward us on the other side of the fairway, and he said, "Do you recognize who that is?" And I said, "No, I have no idea." He said, "That's Albert Einstein. He walks out here every night. He lives here in Princeton, walks here every night. I know Mr. Einstein. Would you like to meet him?" And I said, "Oh, sure. Anybody'd like to meet Einstein. I mean, he's one of the great people of the world, and I'd like to meet him." So we bisected. We moved over to his side of the fairway. He was walking toward us, and we walked over and met with him, and we talked for a minute, and then he spoke in a deep, guttural, mid-European sound, and I knew full well the answer, but I said, "Mr. Einstein, do you play golf?" And he said, No. Tried it once. Too complicated. I quit." So if Einstein said it was too complicated, what the hell are we doing looking at it? After the first, it was 56, a year we had golf on television. And I always stayed over an extra day on Monday and talked with Cliff and with Jones to see if there anything had gone right wrong on the radio, and particularly with the television. So I was out with Cliff out sitting in his office and Tuesday morning, and he said, "Where are your clubs?" And I said, "They're in the car." And he said, "Well, you better go get them." And I said, No, I'm packed. I'm ready. I'm going to New Jersey. I've got to go to New Jersey today. I got to start today. This was 55. We didn't have any super highways in those days. And he said, "Well, I don't make his dates, but the chief called last night when he got in from Washington, and he said, 'Get in touch with John Derr because I want him to play with me at 10 o'clock in the morning.'" He says, "I don't make the president's speeches or dates, but he called and he's expecting you to play with him at 10 o'clock. You better go get your clubs." So I said, "I can't do it." He said, "Well, you can explain that to him." I said, I can't do it. We're going to have a little urchin after Peggy and I have been married 10 years, and all we've got to show for it is 4 black cats. So now we're going to have a baby. So anyway, I got my clubs and got out, and I had played with Ike when he was at Columbia, and so we greeted each other as we knew each other. And I said, "Mr. President, I'm very sorry I cannot play today." I said, "I would like to, but I said, I've really got to get back to New Jersey because we're going to have a little baby. Don't know what it'll be because my wife has had difficulty getting pregnant, and the doctor has indicated that she is pregnant now and that this will be our entire family in this one pregnancy. So I'm anxious to get there for support." "Oh," he says, "I understand that. Can you play the front 9? This was Eisenhower saying. I said, "Yeah, I can play the front 9. He said, "Well, we'll pick up somebody at the turn, but I'd like to play with you. I want to ask you some questions." So anyway, I walked out on the president at Augusta National. I mean, that's the gist on that, but for a good reason.
Yeah.
So he has his ileitis operation that summer and was reelected, and he's back in Augusta. And he goes to the first tee, and Ike says, "Hey," Cliff told him, said, "The Derrs had a little girl." Said, "You remember he was going to have a baby?" And he said, "They had a little girl." So a day or two later, I get a letter from the Southern White House, which is at Augusta, Georgia. The president said, "Congratulations to you and Mrs. Derr." Said, "Cliff told me about the baby and the coincidence. And I heard about it on the first tee, and then I heard about she was born when I was next at the first tee." And he said he did not know her name, and I am under separate cover. We'll send you a memento for her, but not having known her name, I will rely on you to do the proper inscription. So here comes this beautiful bas-relief of the president, and on one side it's Eisenhower, and the other side is that in appreciation of our friendship, and then there's a blank place to put the inscription. And he had left it just as it was. So when the package came, I came and I acknowledged it on the thing. But you don't think I put her name on there, do you? Bob and Dolores were house guests at the same time I was. So on Wednesday night, they always have the big, in those days, they had a big Calcutta. You're familiar with the old Calcuttas they used to have? So anyway, Bing says, John, Bob and I have to go over and open up the Calcutta. So we make a little speech and welcome the people. Said, but we'll only be gone about 15, 20 minutes. He said, if you want to, why don't you stay here with the girls, and when we finished up over there, we'll just stop by and pick you up, and we'll go downtown and eat. And Bob said, God damned if that's so. I ain't leaving him here with Dolores. so Hope made me go with him, and then Bing is driving his old Packard. Hope says, get in. I said, well, am I supposed to be the middle of this combination? We're on our way to Calcutta. He says, but I don't sit next to him. You get in the middle. So Crosby was driving, I'm in the middle, and then Hope's on the outside. But Hope was a very good friend of mine. Hope, he mentioned my daughter cricket a couple of times on his show, on the thing. One time he told me that he was going to mention her on the next week's NBC show. So she was just a kid at the time, and she went to sleep, never did hear him mention her. But Bing wrote her a very nice letter, which she still has, and said, I got word that you have arrived at the Derr household. She said, but don't keep your daddy back there all the time, because we like him in California too. And I thought that was about as nice a gesture as you can get from somebody like Crosby. I played a lot of golf with Snead. I played many times with Snead. In fact, we got in a fight one time. My wife, the three of us were playing, Peggy and Sam and I were playing in Florida. And Sam had made a pretty good effort on thing, and I had got to the 16th hole. He told me to hit my 5-iron a little more fully, and I was on and made a birdie, because I knocked it up real close with him having just told me what I needed to do. So the 17th hole is a par 3, about 185 yards, and I'm up first because I just had a birdie. It's very rare for me to be up first with Snead. I mean, on the thing. And I got up, and I can play this now. I'm even with him, and I've got a par 3 that I've got as good chance as he's got on. I don't get any strokes on that, but so I moved my ass to the left. I got the left side ready. I got the right side ready, and I thought I had it just about right, and I had a 5-wood that I was going to hit on a thing, or 3-wood, I guess it was. And I went boom, and it was the days of the front, up in the air and down. I got just in front of the ladies' tee. So Snead he's got his 3-iron out in his hand. He hits it on the side. God damn, he says, you can tell what's in your neck. So I'd come up, but I never lost the open on the last hole. You don't bring up that. I mean, we don't talk about that. And I said, well, if you're going to talk about my 5-wood didn't get there, I certainly remember that you didn't get there on the 18th hole. I said, now, you want to talk about it some more? No. So he's got his club out, and Peggy runs back, and she says, boys, quit, don't hit. And, did he get fired. I just couldn't take it anymore.
How about that?
But we played a lot. I played